if you have a list of strings, okay, say you have a list of strings. Okay, what is stream? Stream is a flow of some content from the source. Okay, the source can be anything like list or some other source like files. Okay, so what does it do? This is the string. So when you have a list of strings, when you convert to stream, you can think like a flow of objects. Okay, so there are two things: intermediate operations and terminal operations. Okay, we will cover one by one. So the basic things are intermediate operations and terminal operations. Okay, what is intermediate operation? Say I have a string list of objects like Anil, okay, Saurabh, okay, and Harish, something like that. Okay, to convert the list into stream, you have to call dot stream method. Okay, so when you call the stream, the list of objects gets converted to stream of strings. Okay, this is the list of strings, right? When you call the dot stream on the list, it gets converted to stream of strings. Okay, what are the intermediate operations? If you want to convert all these strings into uppercase, you may convert, right? Say I want to convert all these strings into some uppercase. Okay, so you basically what you are trying to do, you are trying to map the contents in the list which you have converted into stream into uppercase. Right now they might be in a lowercase or mixed case. Using map, we can convert them into upper. So on stream, you can perform so many operations. Okay, on stream, we have several methods like map. Okay, and say I have 3 strings, and if I want to check if all these strings either starts with Anil, that you can check. So that is something called filter. Okay, suppose I want to find if I want say there are 3 strings. I want to filter only those strings which start with Anil or some logic. That means what you can do on stream, one thing which we have discussed, mapping. That means you are trying to convert the streams in the lowercase or any case to uppercase. So one operation that we can do is map and filter. That means based on some condition, I want to filter the contents in the string. So that is the filter operation. Okay, and I want to say I have so many objects, string objects in my list. After converting, what happens? This list will be converted to stream of strings. Say I want to limit them to only 5. Say I don't want all the 100 objects and I want to get only 5. Then you can limit them. So like that, in Java, JDK 8 streams are introduced, right? So there are so many things that you can perform. These are all called intermediate operations. Okay. When you ask the stream to convert into uppercase, it immediately doesn't do anything. Okay. Only when you call the terminal operation, then this will get executed. Okay. So the terminal operations are the main thing which triggers the intermediate operation. Unless you call some terminal operation, all this which you have requested won't execute immediately. Okay, this intermediate performs lazily. That means until you invoke some terminal operation on the stream. So we will see one by one. What is the terminal operation? So for each is one terminal operation. That means after converting into uppercase, I want to consume all the strings in the string. So when you call some terminal operation, then only the intermediate operations that we have specified will get performed. Okay, this is for each. And we have collect method. After converting or filtering or limiting, I want to convert. The stream is in a different form. Now I want to assign them to some list or set. Then I have to use collect method. Okay, so these are called terminal operations. Only when you specify terminal operations, then whatever you have mentioned here, say you have requested to convert to uppercase, or you are trying to filter the objects in the stream, or you want to limit the objects which are coming out of the stream. When these will get performed? Only when you call some terminal operations. Any doubts so far? Is it clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. Do you have a basic idea, or is it the first time you are understanding about streams? All of you, those who have joined. Have you gone through the streams before, or is this the first time?
Some YouTube video see I have first before.
Okay, yeah, but is it clear, right? So far,
Right.
we will. Okay, even I started as if you are a beginner who doesn't have any idea. Okay, so stream is nothing but the stream will take the data from source like list or some files also. From files also you can convert them into streams. Stream is nothing but some flow of some objects or some data. Okay, on stream what you can do? You can do so many things, like you can map them, you can filter them, you can limit them. Say I want to find out what is the first object in my stream. There is a method, and say out of the objects in the stream, I want to check if all the strings are Anil. I can do that. Or I want to group the students. Suppose tomorrow, I mean later, we can create employee objects also, right? Employees objects have several properties like employee ID, the company in which they are working. Okay, I want to group the employees by their company. Then what happens? Multiple employees may be working in one company, right? Then what happens? So you will get like TCS set of or list of employees, then IBM some people. So that you can do using stream operator very easily. Without streams and lambda expressions, if you want to achieve the same thing using Java 7 and before, it will be very tough. Okay, I will start with a very small basic thing, the first thing on the stream. Okay, now what I'm going to do? See, intermediate operation only when you want to do something, when you want to convert. Otherwise, you can directly invoke the terminal operation. Okay, we will first start with a simple list. Okay, I have, say, Anil, Venkat, and Kumar. This is going to be your first stream example. Okay, now you convert them into stream. Stream is like a flow of some data. Okay, how to call on the stream method is added in the collection interface. Hope you know that collection is the root interface in the collection hierarchy. So the stream has been added in the collection interface. So whenever you call dot stream, so how to convert the list into stream? You have to call stream method on the list. Okay, then I want to display all the elements in the stream. There is a terminal operator called for each. Okay, you have to call for each. Hope you all have already gone through lambdas. So the for each will take a consumer. Okay, consumer means in consumer interface there is a method called accept, which takes something. Okay, this accept method takes something and does some action. Okay, so to the for each you have to provide lambda expression which implements this accept method. Accept method, what it does, it takes something and it does some action and it doesn't return anything. So for this accept method, I have to provide the implementation. Okay. So this stream is containing streams, right? So I will write a consumer. Okay, like this. I will give a variable. I told you, right? Accept method takes one argument. So your lambda starts with one argument. Then after that means what? Actually, what is lambda expression? When somebody calls accept method on the consumer reference variable, this logic gets executed. That means what happens? For each means if you have 3 objects in the stream, this for each, what it does, it will take the first object and passes into the lambda expression, and then it will take the second object, passes to the lambda expression, which is the consumer. Kumar, it is going to be passed here. After receiving, what you should do, I want to print. So I will say system.out.println and I will give st. Fine. So this is the lambda expression. This is the very basic stream example. That means I have a list of strings. I will convert them using stream. So what happens? This stream will return the stream of strings. Then I want to print them. Okay. If you don't know streams, what you will do, either you use a for int I is equal to something, right? Or you will use advanced for loop, right? For string yes, and you will give the names list and you will print. See, lambda expression in one line, you can achieve this. It is going to be very easy. Okay, we will check it. Any questions here? Hope you all know lambda, right? The for each takes the consumer reference. That means you have to provide a lambda expression which implements the accept method. So what my lambda, this st and arrow and system.out.println st, what it is exactly doing? The for each internally calls the accept method by passing each object in the stream, like Anil, it will send it to accept method. Then what happens? What is the logic that gets implemented when accept is called? This is the lambda expression that gets executed. So when somebody calls accept, my lambda expression gets executed. In this case, you don't need to call the accept method. The for each is going to take care. You tell, see, for each is saying, please tell me how to consume each object in the stream through lambda expression, and I will call the accept method internally by passing each object to the lambda expression. Now what happens? Anil will come and gets printed. Then Venkat comes to st and it gets printed. Okay, we will run this example first. Okay. Any doubts here so far? Anybody?
No. Clear.
Is it very clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Clear.
See, now forget about this. I have a list of strings, right? Array list, and I have added 4 strings. Now, what is the first thing you have to do? To convert into stream of string, what you need to do? Names string. How do you call? Names list reference variable dot string. Now what happened? Your list has been converted to stream of strings. Okay. Now on the stream, you can invoke the operations. Okay. For each is the terminal operation. Okay. Name string. You are not speaking. Can you go on mute, please? Name string dot for each. If you see the syntax, the for each method is accepting consumer. That means you have to provide a lambda expression which implements the, see, consumer is the functional interface. If you see here, consumer is the functional interface. It contains only one method called accept.
For me?
accept method takes one argument.
चावल में डाल तो दे एक बार.
Guys, can you go
5
on
मिनट
mute?
से चालू करेंगे अपन.
Saurav, can you go on
Oh,
mute?
sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So after I converted the list into string, I'm calling for each. So for each accepts one argument, which is a consumer. So you have to provide the lambda expression which implements the consumer interface. Consumer is the functional interface. Okay. So consumer basically takes one argument. So I started with one argument, name. Then what I need to do, the accept method takes something and does some action. It doesn't return anything. So I am doing system.out.println on the argument that I received. That's it. Now what happens? The for each loop. So this is the implementation for your consumer argument. So this will be taken by the for each, right? So using this reference consumer object, it will call the dot accept method, passing each string from the stream one by one after converting. So it will print all the contents in the string. So this is the basic thing. Let me comment out all this. Fine. Is it clear? Shall I proceed?
Yes, please.
So you have to remember this for each is the terminal operator. Okay. And now we have discussed that some terminal, some intermediate operations which we can perform on the string. Say I want to convert all the strings which are in my string to uppercase. Okay, let us see how to do this. Okay, what is the my list reference variable? Names. Okay, names dot first convert your list into string. Then there is a method called map. Okay, you know that there is a lambda, there is a functional interface called function. What does functional interface function do? It takes something, right, and it performs something and returns back. So function takes something and outputs something. So what I am doing here is I am providing a lambda expression which implements this function interface. So in the stream, what I have list the stream. In the stream, I have a flow of string objects, names. So I will take each object, means one by one, the student name. Then what is my task? I want to convert, right? So that is why I have applied map function, map method on the string. So it is taking the function interface. That means you have to provide the lambda expression. When somebody calls apply method, what happens? You will receive one argument, and on that argument, you will perform some action and return back. So what I'm going to do? Name dot to uppercase. That's it, over. Now what happens? Internally, this map takes this function, right? This is the lambda expression which implements the functional interface. Okay, what it does, the map will pass each name from the string, right? So what function does? It takes something and it performs something and returns. But since there is only one line, you don't need to write return here. That is why I did not write the return statement. Understand?
So the map takes argument as function as argument. Huh?
Yes. So you have to function is what? A functional interface. It is a predefined functional interface. Function, what it does? See, you can think like function is a one method which takes one argument and it performs something and returns back. So that is why this is the implementation. See, this is the simple interface implementation. If you know In Java,
Okay,
if you have an interface called apply, which takes one argument and returns something, what you will do? You will write a class which implements, and you will, based on the argument, you will perform something and return back. Earlier, before lambdas, either we would have written a separate class which implements interface, or anonymous class we would have written.
But what I understand here is, like, when we do the streams.map,
Yeah.
function, map method takes a function interface as an argument,
Yeah.
and then we are giving that
So function interface means, can you create any interface in Java? No, right? You have to
No.
pass
No,
some
that's true,
implementation
true.
class
Yeah.
which implements the function interface.
Correct. So, like, the map function, map method, which is there inside the stream,
Yeah.
it takes a function argument, right?
Yes, correct. That is why
And here, as part of that, we are implementing this, the
implementation.
function
You are
interface
providing the
methods,
implementation. You are
But
providing
normally,
the
when we
implementation.
provide the implementation, then we have to call that function, right?
Actually,
Yeah.
we need not call. Map internally is going to call. If it is a normal example that we are going to write, we are going to call the apply method also. But here, since you are passing to stream, the map should know how to convert. It takes care of calling the apply method.
Okay.
Clear?
So since it is a Java function itself, then we don't need to call explicitly. It will take care.
Yeah, the map is going to call the apply method.
Okay.
Whenever you call apply method, this logic should be executed. That is what I am passing. Even the same here. For each is expecting the consumer. Okay, this expression, this is the lambda expression. Consumer, what it does, it takes something, performs some action, but it doesn't return anything. So who is calling the accept method? The for each is going to call the accept method by passing each content in the string. Here, the difference is it performs some action. Here, it performs some action, means it doesn't return anything. Here, it will be returned automatically, right? If you have only one line in the lambda expression, you don't need to write return statement. If you have any confusion, you can write like this. Okay, after arrow, it's just like a method call, nothing great here. Okay, you put it inside. How do you write a method? The same way. Or map. Okay, this is the lambda expression. So lambda expression takes in some arguments. After arrow, you will write something like the method implementation. Then over. Okay, 1 second. Stream.map. Map is a method. Okay, now I have to write a lambda expression. Okay, name. Then I will start with name dot to uppercase. Okay. You have to one second. So this is going to be your method implementation. How do you start like a method? Open brace, then return, then is it clear? If you have one line, you don't need to specify return, this open brace and close brace and all these things. Okay, automatically the return will be considered. You got it right?
Got it. Okay. So since it is returning something, so the map will be internally calling apply method, right?
Yeah, when the map calls apply method, what it passes each content into the stream, and we have specified how to convert. So map is using my function which I have provided through the lambda expression. So whenever map calls apply, it will pass each content from the stream, and we have provided how to convert. So each each content in the stream gets converted to uppercase, right?
Okay.
But here, this is the important thing. When you call the map, it won't be converted to uppercase. Do you know why? If you have understood. The map, we have specified that all the contents in the stream should get converted to uppercase. Do you think at this after this line, do you think all the contents in the stream are converted to uppercase?
No, I think it should be returned some way from
No,
the
see,
stream.
it won't get converted. I told you, right? See, what is the map? Map is the intermediate operation. I told you, only when you invoke some terminal operation, the actual logic in the intermediate operation gets applied. Until you invoke either for each or collect, it won't get converted. That means this intermediate operation, just it remembers what it needs to do when you invoke the terminal operation. Until then, it lazily sits waiting for some terminal operation to get executed. Understand? That means this is the intermediate operation. So the contents in the stream are not yet converted. When they will get converted? Only when you use the terminal operation like for each. Okay. So for each takes the consumer. Map takes function, and the for each, how to consume, you have to provide some consumer. So consumer means what are the contents in my stream right now? It has created a new stream with all the contents as uppercase. Whenever you call map, what it does, it has created a new string. Now the new stream contained all the contents in uppercase. Now you are consuming. How to consume? Consumer will take one argument and does some action. So I will say, what is the student name? See, name you can give anything, it doesn't matter, right? Now we will say sysout st name. Okay, yeah. Over. So only when you call the terminal operation, then it starts, the contents in the stream gets converted to uppercase by map. Until this part, nothing happened, right? Only when you call the terminal operation, the map function really gets executed. Is it clear? Now we will print and check the output.
So it has basically two parts, intermediary and ternary, right?
Yeah. See, you can give any number, 5 or 10 intermediate operations also. You can pipe them. Okay. After converting to uppercase, if I want to filter, you can do it. We will see in the next examples. Understand? So you have the, say you have the stream here. Okay. When I call map, it has a, sorry, this is the list. This is the list. When you call stream, it has created stream. When you call map, to convert the uppercase, it has created a new stream. Then on this stream, you can say, I want to filter only those names which starts with V. Then it will create a new stream containing only the strings which starts with A. And say after that, I want to limit my output to only 5. So now what happens if there are 100 strings which are starting with 100, I won't get 100. Say, because there is something called limit operator on the string, limit method. When you call that 5, so 5 are there. Do you think now all these operations are performed? No. It remembers all these things, but all these are intermediate operations. So when you call the for each, then my logic gets started. Okay, now it starts executing. Okay, converting to map. Okay, then filter, then filter, then limit. All this logic, when it gets executed, when you call some terminal operation. So for each is one terminal operation. Understand? All this is lazy. These operations are lazy. Okay. why I need to perform until no one is asking me? That is how these operations behave. Understand? So only when you invoke the terminal operations, all this part gets completed. Clear? Any questions here?
So, what additional benefit we get when we use streams is that,
See how many. See, if you want to perform the same thing, imagine the code that you will write. See, I have a list of strings. I want to map them into uppercase. Imagine just this scenario, just this one scenario. Can you try to write logic for this? You have to write the for loop, right? And you have to call the uppercase. Then I want to filter. Then for that you have to write some other logic. If the student ID greater than 10, then I have to keep some in one and more array list. Then I want to limit them to 10. That for that you have to write logic. See, all this you can write in one line. Can you do this? Just to try without strings. You will understand the power of strings. Understand? This is called functional programming. So far in Java, we don't have this support. If you have little background on Angular or any functional programming languages, in Angular also we can do all these things. Okay, that's why Java started introducing all these concepts. Clear? Shall we see this example? Okay. See, is it clear? The map is taking one lambda implementation for the function. Okay, what this function, the map, what it does, it takes each content in the stream, it converted. Now you got another stream. So until this part, you got a new stream. So since this is the stream, you can call for each. The for each accepts consumer. Consumer, what it takes one argument, does something. So I have printed system.out printer. Is it clear? So if you see the output, all got converted to uppercase. Fine. Any questions so far? Are you able to follow?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we will check one more thing. Say, I want to find out if all the strings in my list are Anil. Okay. How to do that? Names dot string. Okay. There is a method called all match. Okay. If you see, if you go to any interview right now, many people are asking the questions on the Java 8. What they will ask? What are the predefined functional interfaces provided by Java? Here itself, we have covered two, and we are going to cover a third one. One is consumer, we have checked. One is function. Now it is expecting predicate again. Understand? You know predicate has a method called test method. So predicate takes something, it evaluates something and returns either true or false. So your lambda expression should return Boolean value, right? So what happens? This all match takes the predicate. So you provide the logic how to filter the contents in the string. Okay, I will say st. I will say st dot starts with a. That's it. Now what happens? This all match method taking this filter. This is the logic to find out if all my strings in the stream are starting with a. If at least one is not matching, it will return false. If only all the strings in my stream are starting with a, because this is the condition which I have mentioned in the predicate. So the all match will ensure that all the contents in the stream matches this condition. Otherwise, it will return false. We will assign to Boolean value. All matching. Can you tell me what I'm going to get the output? Are all the strings in my stream, see, gets starting with A? No, I have 3 strings starting with A, but I have a 1 string which doesn't start with A. So it will return Boolean value. It should return false. See, why? Because all match condition is taking the predicate and one by one it passes, right? If all the contents in my stream matches this condition, only then all match returns true, otherwise false. Let us make this string also Anil. Then what happens? The all match recognizes using the help of predicate. It understands that all the contents in my stream starts with A. Clear? All match. This is one method. Fine. You have several methods. Names.stream. Say I want to count how many contents are in my stream. Okay, how many contents are in my stream? Names 4. I want to get that. Then that's it. You assign them and print it. Now list count. So you might have understood that count is the terminal operation. Okay, so number of contents in string is list count. Fine, we got 4. That is the purpose of count. Are you able to follow? Hello? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah. See, we have so many things in the string. Okay. Now I want to find out the distinct elements on my string. Okay. Now what happens? You converted the list into string, and this distinct, using the equals method, understands which are unique. Okay. Then prints only that content. So I have to consume using for each. Name system.out.println name. Clear? What it is doing? You have converted the list into string, and when you apply distinct, what it does? See, in my list, I have a duplicates. Anil. So it should print only 1, right? Fine. Even though in my stream I have 4 strings, still it has printed only 1. Why? Because I have applied distinct operator on the string. Clear? Any questions? Okay. We will see the group by. We will see first the comparator otherwise. We have checked the filter rate. The filter means, say in the previous examples which I have discussed, I have taken strings. Here I have the list of student objects. Now first what I did, I converted list into string, right? And to the filter method, Filter method, what it takes? The predicate. Predicate takes one argument and it evaluates that argument and returns either true or false. So what I'm giving the logic here, I'm saying it will take one student, and if my student ID is greater than 50, in the stream, the contents are filtered based on the condition. Only if student ID is greater than 50, only those objects get filtered. Now what I did, so I have called the stream, then called filter. Now what happened? I assigned to stream. Now on the stream, suppose I have the list of strings and you have converted to stream. Suppose if you want to convert that stream back to list, you have to use a method called collect. Understand? Now, after this step, what happened? My array, my list of strings converted to stream of strings. Later, when I applied filter, what happened? That created another stream with only the student objects which are greater than 50. So I have a stream now. If I want to convert this stream back into list of students, what you need to do is you have to call the collect method. To the collect method, you have to pass the argument. There is something called collectors class. In collectors, you have several types like to list, to set. If you want to convert to set, you have to say collectors dot to set as the argument for the collect. What this collect is going to perform, it collects all the contents in the stream into list. That is what happening. After I got the list, I am consuming. In list, there is something called for each. Okay. When you call the list.forEach, you have to provide the consumer. Consumer, what it does? It take one argument and does some action. It doesn't return anything. So I'm printing the first name and last name. Shall we run this? There, see which objects are having ID greater than 50. This one, this one, this one. So I should see the output as Anish, Satya, and Rahul. Why? Because I converted to stream, then I filtered. So I got a new stream with only those students which are having student ID greater than 50. Then now my list has become stream. If I want to convert back to list, you have to use collect method. To the collect method, you have to specify how do you convert, how do you want your stream to get converted into. Either you want to convert into list or into set. That you specify as the argument for the collect. So now the stream has become again list. In the list, we have the for each method. Using for each, you start consuming. Now what happens? The for each will pass each filter things. Anish, this object will get converted. You got the object, but I am printing only the two properties. If you want some other property also, you can concatenate. Clear? Is it clear, guys? The usage of collect and collectors is the class. It has several implementations like to list, to set. You have to provide it as an argument.
Okay, then here the filter is intermediary and this collect method.
Collect is the terminal operation. Okay. So until you call the collect method, this filter won't work. That means it is lazily sitting there. Only when you call, then it starts doing the work given by the filter. Is it clear or any difficulty understanding this? If you can write lambdas, understanding streams is very easy. If you know function, consumer, predicate, all these things properly, understanding streams is very easy. Just you are passing either function or predicate or consume to the respective functions. So filter always takes predicate, right? For each takes consumer. So you have to know how to write the consumer and predicate all these things properly. So streams understanding is very easy. Clear or any questions? Are you able to understand this?
Okay. So here filter, since it is we are doing some condition, that is why it's predicted, right?
So the filter, what it is taking, I am giving a consumer, right?
Mhm.
The filter is expecting one consumer. To the consumer, what I specified, it will take one student, and it is checking. It is calling the get student ID property to get the student ID, and it's comparing whether that student ID. See, this is the student object. You have to remember this. This is the entire student object you will get as the argument. Okay, from this, I'm calling get test ID. So I will get 10. It will check whether it is greater than 50. If it is greater than 50, it will create a new stream with that object. Then it checks 120. Since it is greater, it will include. Not greater, won't include. Greater, include. Greater, include. So all the students which are greater than 50 gets included into the new stream. So this is a new stream, right? See, this is first you have converted list to stream. So this is the stream. When you call the filter method, it creates a new stream with only the filtered contents. After that, I am consuming. So before consuming, since this is in the which form, right now, it is not in the list form. You can't use for each. So that is why I'm converting my stream back to list using collector method, then consuming. Clear? Any questions? Shall I move to next thing? See, I have names dot add, right? Say I want to let us make this Harish Krishna Rao. Say I want to sort the contents in the stream. Okay, how to do that? First, names dot stream. Always the first thing that you need to do is calling stream method. Then just call sorted method. Understand? Sorted, what it does? It will sort the strings alphabetically. So after sorting, what you should get first? Anil, then Harish, Krishna, and Rahul. That is what my sorted method on the stream does. Now after sorting, I'm going to consume. Say name. This is out. Name over. So my sort, let me run this. Fine. See, are these sorted or not? My contents in the stream. How did they get sorted? With sorted. Let me remove this, then you will understand the original contents. Fine. This is the original contents in the stream. When I apply sorted, it has sorted. See, in Java, without this, if you want to do you have to use collections.sort, right? And you have to achieve this, right? It's very easy with streams. Fine. Names dot stream dot let us see if there are any things sorted. Say I want to reverse the contents. Then what you need to do, to the sorted, you have to pass the comparator. Okay. One second. There is something called natural order also. Dot sorted. Let me see why this thing. Comparator dot let's see, I think I have written somewhere. Okay, I don't know what is happening. Okay, we will see this example. I have already written. Okay, I have a list of students. Okay, I want to sort them based on course. Okay, earlier we did not define any comparator, right? In the strings, you already know that strings implement comparable interface. So we did not specify explicitly how to sort your strings. Since the students are user-defined objects, you have to tell how to sort your objects. So how did I specify it? To the sorted method, you have to provide the comparator. Okay. In JDK 8, they have simplified. You don't need to tell, you don't need to implement comparator also. They have given a method called comparing. To the comparing method, you tell based on which property of the student you want to sort the student objects. Suppose I want to sort the student objects based on course name. So that is why I specified comparator is having comparing method. To comparing method, you specify based on which property in the student you want to use to compare. This is called method reference. Okay, this has been introduced in Java 8. This is called method reference. Okay, when you want to call the get course from the student, you can simply say student : get course. What happens to this comparing? You are specifying that use my get course to get the course name and use this to sort my objects. After that, I'm calling for each. Okay, this is called method reference. Okay, clear? Run as Java application. Fine. See, big data starts first, right? That is why Rahul, the student, has come first. Then B, J, J, S. Clear? If I want to say sort based on student IDs, change this method. Get student ID. Fine. That's it. Just tell the property based on which you want to sort, to whom you need to tell. To comparing method, you tell the property based on which you want to sort. Otherwise, if you maybe you have written comparator earlier, okay, you will write a separate class which implements comparator. You will override the compare method taking two arguments. Either you will return 0 if it is equal, okay, negative value if first argument is less than second argument, positive value if first argument is greater than. All that is not required. They have simplified very much. Just you tell the property based on which you want to compare to comparing method. It takes care how to sort. Then I use the for each. Clear? Now see why this came first. Student ID, Anil, because student ID is the one which I specified to the comparator on which it needs to sort. So 10, then it should come 40 Satish, right? 60 Satya, 95 Rahul, 120 Anish. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear? Hello? Saurabh and Abhilash.
Yeah. So here additionally we are just using
Any confusion? Any confusion here?
No.
Sorry?
No.
Are you feeling difficulty or is it easy? if you are seeing this for first time, maybe it looks complex, but once you start writing, it's very easy, right? This part is same always, this for each part. Only thing what is different here, you are called the sorted method, and to the sorted method you have to pass the comparator, but you don't need to implement comparator also. What they are saying, in comparator class they have provided a method called comparing. You tell the property based on which you need to sort, and it will return the comparator. Right? So that will be used for the sorting. So that is what happened here. Right. Next. See, I have a list of student objects. Can you tell me how many students have opted Java course?
Three
Three.
students.
Three. Who are those? Anil, Satish, and Satya. Then, how many opted SQL? Anish. How many opted big data? Rahul. So I want to see, in SQL we do grouping, right? I want to find out for Java how many students have opted. I want to find for SQL how many students have opted. If that is my requirement, earlier we would have written in Oracle the same thing, right? Now, if you want to implement this functionality, you would have written so many lines of code. But using grouping by method in the collectors, it would be very easy now. Okay, now what I should get output is Java, the list of students, SQL, the list of students. Why? Because for each course, for one course, there may be multiple students who have opted. That is why the output what I want is a map. Map means what? Key and value pair. The key contains the course name and the value should contain the list of students who have opted the particular course. So if you see, the output that I am expecting is string, which is the key course name like Java, and the list of students who opted for Java. Okay, each entry in the map is going to be course name and the list of students who opted for that course. To achieve that, first convert your stream to as a list to string. And I told you that collector method is used to convert from one form to another, right? To this collect method, there is something called collectors class. Okay, you have to use collectors dot grouping by. Okay, to the grouping by, you have to specify based on which it needs to perform the grouping. So to this grouping by, I specified based on get course, I received the student, and here I am saying use the get course method in the student to perform the grouping. Now what happens? Java, and it groups the students who have opted for Java into one list. Next, it will check SQL and it will create one more list of those students. Simply what you need to specify to the grouping by collectors.grouping by, you just need to specify the property get course. That means based on this property, create the group of students. So Java, how many student objects are there? SQL, how many student objects? Like that. Now what will happen? Java is the key, and I will get a list of 3 students. Who are those? Anil, Satish, Satya. For SQL is going to be another key in the map. What is the value?
Anish.
Anish. And not only Anish, you will get the entire student object. Okay. So in the list, you will contain the entire student object. That is why I specified student. Next, big data. Big data is the simple string, and you will get list. It contains only one student. Now, already it has written as map. That is the purpose of collect. If you remember, collect can convert the stream into list, set, or map. But to convert into map, you have specified how, actually this is the grouping by. So this is the way to group by the objects. Just mention on which property you want to create the groups. Later, now I have the map, I have the for each. So for each, in each iteration, what I will get? One content from the map, right? So one course and one course list, isn't it? Right? So in each iteration, I will get two objects as the argument. One is the course and the list who opted for the course. So that is why this is the list, right? List we can iterate using for each. So yeah, I printed the course name. This is the course name, and this list I am iterating because this will contain the persons opted for Java, right? So I printed the name of the person. Let us execute. Clear? Let me comment this. Clear? Java. Who has opted? Anil, Satish, Satya. So that is why I got. That means this is the argument. Course is Java I got. Then I got the list. So that is why I am using for each on the list so that I can iterate the three objects. Here, if you see, I printed only first name. If you want to print other details like student ID, you can add here. Next, big data, there is only one person. So we got Rahul. For SQL, there is only one person. That's why we got Anish. You understand? What we need to do? We will recap once. First, convert into stream. Then call the collect method. As I told you, collect can convert the stream into different forms like list, set, and map. Here, we are using grouping by. Where is the grouping by? We have the class called collectors, and we have grouping by method in the collectors. It should be given as the argument to collect. This collectors dot grouping by. You have to give argument as to the collect. So to the grouping by, what you are specifying? You are specifying the lambda expression, which takes one student object, and specifying which property of the student I am using to create the groups. See, we will change this. Instead of get course, we will see, okay, I will make last name. 1 second. I will, instead of get course, let us see get. Tell me how many you will get as output. If I group now based on the student last name, how many groups you will get?
All 5, I think.
Sorry?
All 5.
Yeah, all 5. So you will get only one group. Now you will get, instead of course name, you have to say last name and how many students with that last name. Here, see, now you have got everything under one group. Right? Finally, we will see one reduce. Okay, in Java, they have provided to create stream of int values. There is a method called range closed. Suppose I want to get a stream of numbers from 1 to 3. I will specify the int stream dot range closed and 1 3. Okay, I want to see the range closed function. What it does, it will generate the numbers. Okay, if you pass 1 and 3, it will generate the stream with numbers. Now there is something called reduce in Java. Okay, in the stream, reduce is the method. Okay, what it does, to reduce, give the initial output like 1. Okay, then you tell how to, I want to do the sum of this, like 1 plus 2 plus 3. I want to get 6. For that, we have reduce method. So what you need to give to the reduce, give the initial value and tell how to calculate the values like 1 plus 2. Suppose I want to sum, right? I want to sum the numbers. You give that as the second. Guys, someone is using. Okay. So to reduce, you specify the initial value. Then what it does internally, you have the methods 1, 2, 3, right? So you have given the logic. If two values are given, num1 and num2, you are returning num1 plus num2. That means what happens? First, it will pass the initial value, how much you specified, 1. So it will pass 1 and it will pass the first object in the first value in the string. So it will become 2. Now 2 and pass the second value 2. What did you specify? You have to return num1 plus num2. So it will be 4. Then 4. And what is the second? You pass 3. So it will be 7. Understand? I think, did I make any mistake? 1 plus 2 plus 3. 1 plus 1, 2. 2 plus 2, 4. 1 plus 2, 3. It should be 6. Where did I make the mistake? Sorry, 1 plus 1. Guys, no one is 1. Yeah, 1 plus 1, 2. Initial value 1 plus 1, 1. 1 plus 2, 3. See, initial value is 1. So 1 plus 1 is equal to 1. Then the result 1 will be added to 2. So it will be 3. Then this 3 will be added to the next value in the string. So 3. So 6. Somehow I given wrong. Okay, you understand, right? The first initial value you have provided and the first value in the string it has taken. So you perform that you need to return 1 plus 1. So 1. Then this value will be taken here and the second item will be taken. So 1 plus 2, 3. So this value will be taken and the content in the string 3. So it will be 6. This is called reduce method. To the reduce method, you have to specify how to, it takes the binary operator. Okay, that is why it is accepting two values and you have to specify what you should do after receiving the two values. So when you receive num1 comma num2, you ask to return sum. That is why. So internally, this will happen like this. So initial value plus the first value, that will become again the first and takes the second value 3. 3 will become the first value and 3. So it will become 3. So 6. This is the reduce method. Clear or any confusion? See, guys, I don't know who is drawing. Okay. See, int stream, this range close, what it does, it generated numbers from 1, 2, 3. Right? Then you call the reduce. The reduce takes, if you see, binary operator. Identity means initial value. Okay. So the 0 will be added to 1, then 1 plus 2, then 2 plus 3. How did you specify? Using the lambda expression. This is the binary operator. Binary operator means it takes two things and you have to return the something. Suppose if you give multiplication here, then the values will be multiplied and the stream is reduced to just one value. Fine, we will run this. See here, sum is 6. That means the stream has got reduced into just one value. That is the use of reduce. Say I will give, instead of plus, I will give multiplication. Now what happens? Here you should not give 0. Otherwise what happens? Everything will become 0. Initial value I have given 1. So what happened in my stream? What are the values? 1, 2, 3. Initial value is 1. So 1 into 1 is equal to 1. Then this value will be taken here. Then the second value will be taken 2. is equal to 2. Next 2 will be taken as the first value, and the next item in the string 3 is equal to 6. So you will get answer as 1 into 2, 2, 2 into 3, 6. Fine. You will get the same thing. Okay. We will change 4. That means it will generate a stream of 1 to 4 numbers. Now what happens? 6. Right. So 6. And now in stream, the range closed method generate a stream of 4 numbers, right? So 6 into 4. Now it will become 24. Now we will execute this. Fine. This is the usage of reduce method. That's it, guys, for this session. If you have any doubts, let me know. Otherwise, we will wrap up the session. There are so many operators, so many things to learn. It will be difficult to cover in one session. Okay, so I have covered the main things. So with this, you can learn the many operators which are provided in the string. There is something called partitioning by, and so many operators are there. Any questions?
So, like, map function we are using to do it, it's like, some
It could convert something to
yeah,
some other value.
some other value, and then after map we have been doing the ternary operator, like, collect,
For reach, or you can
collect,
use
right?
anything. So
Yeah, and
map is basically for converting some value to some other value.
another. And then along with map, we should reduce, or reduce can be used separately.
See, reduce, it depends on what is your requirement. Suppose after you converted the map, you have the new stream with the mapped values, then you can use a reduce operator to do some, suppose if you have got some employee objects, and if I want to sum the salaries, then you can write some logic to reduce that.
Okay, so reduce, what exactly it is?
Just I explained it. If you have the stream of values.
Okay.
What is this guy doing? Okay. See, this reduce method, this int stream dot range closed, what it generated 1 to 4 values in the string. This has string. Suppose if you say 1 and 100, then it will give the stream of integers like 1 to 100. So to the reduce, you have to specify what you need to do. I have specified. It takes the reduce method takes a binary operator. Binary operator, it takes 2 values. And what did you specify? After taking 2 values, you are specifying sum those 2 digits. Or you said second time multiply those 2 values. That means what happens internally, this reduce method will call the 2 values at a time, the initial value and the first value in the string. Okay, then second time this value into second value in the string, then 2 into next value in the string, which is 3, 6. Next, the 6 into 4, 24. You got it? The reduce method is converting this stream of values into one single value.
Oh, okay. So it's like all
one value.
Yeah, you have a couple of values stored in
the
stream.
Correct.
Then if you want the sum of it, then maybe
sum
you can use
or multiply, anything. You tell that logic in the lambda expression, what you want to do. So this is the binary operator. So what happens internally, it passes 2 objects at a time, performs that logic and takes that value and takes the second value in the string and performs the same thing repeatedly. Understand?
Okay. Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah.
See, there is something called, I am not going to go in detail, but if you see in everything you have int stream dot parallel stream. Okay, what it does, see, if your system has 4 processors, what happens, fork join framework, it got introduced in JDK 7. Okay, now instead of doing all these operations are being done by one thread. Instead of that, if your system has 4 processors, the work gets distributed across the processors, right? That is the parallel stream. The work will be divided and passed to different processors in your system. Because if in the modern days you have multiple processors in your system, right? So it is going to, the parallel stream is going to effectively utilize all the processors, right?
Okay. So, without parallel, if you use the normal stream, and if you are using,
then
chain
one
of
thread
three-
is going to perform
okay.
all this work, right?
Okay.
Instead of that, the parallel stream, it divides using fork join framework. It internally uses fork join framework.
Yeah, but okay. Maybe
Okay,
this is
the difference, because when it is distributed, you are effectively utilizing all the processors, right?
Mhm.
That means the time will get reduced. That is the purpose of parallel stream. Okay. Guys, what happened to this guy? Is he behaving like a child?
Who is that?
I don't know. I can't remove that.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Parallel stream is something.
The work gets distributed across several processors in your system. Say if you have 4 processors in your system,
Yeah.
the work gets distributed internally. You don't need to do anything. You just need to call the parallel
Correct.
stream.
But we
then
need
the work gets
to.
distributed. Yeah.
We need to be a little careful over there, right? When to use, because sometimes
There are some rules, like for smaller work you should not do that. Because what happens, it will see, whenever you create a thread, what happens, it has to maintain stacks and all those things. Unnecessarily it has to switch, the context has to be switched from one thread to another, lot of things like that. Okay, so basically when you have a lot of work, then you can use the parallel stream. Okay.
Yeah.
Hope it is clear. Yeah. Any questions?
Yeah. For now, I think it's
Your name?
Hello.
Your name, please.
Abhilash here.
Yeah. Okay, Abhilash. That's all for today.
Yeah. So hope you'll continue this. It is nice.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. You can share the feedback in the group.
Sure. Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Venkatesh.
Yeah, it's Venkat. Thank you.
Huh?